Drivers, to your cars.
Welcome to the final round of the 2023 NORL Busch Bonanza Series, live from Homestead. The thrilling conclusion, we have a 22-point gap into this final round between Diggs in the 40 and Davis in the 78. Diggs will be starting outside pole, the pole sitter, Joe Polson. On row 2, Dave Daniels, Jackson Vatcher. Row 3, Broderick Whitman, Gino Sphere. Row 4 finds Tommy Davis and Joe Mersdorf. Row 5, Mike Carroll, Rod Weston. Row 6, Stephen Lowe, Tony Tanto. Row 7, Beresford and Drake. Row 8 brings us John Cheeseman and Gene Stapleton. Row 9, Jack Painter and Nazamo Hawkins. Row 10, Larry Sheldrick and Ben White. On row 12, Ron Stout, Kevin Corbett. Row 13, Reno Jackson, Stephen Davis. Row 14, Ryan Pedersen and Baron McComas. Row 15, Brian Phillips and Dwight York. On row 16, Jared Mogard and Jared Shadle. Row 17, Frank Womack, Alex Stello. Row 17, Doug Spark and Nigel Ramaswamy. Row 18, Bobby Farrell and Jim Fitzmaurice. Row 19, am I counting right? Yeah, that's right. Row 19 is Spike Levinson and JT Armstrong. Row 20, Steve Inkman, Tony Gunk, and on the final row we have James DeCourcy and the 86 car of Reigns. So there is a 22-point margin for the championship here. Nobody else is mathematically in this to win this. Tony Gunk is 78 points out of the top 20. Joe Polson is the 20th place car. A good run here will secure some starts early in next season for the first 5 rounds. Already known that Diggs will not be in the series next season. He is moving on to bigger and greater things in the extravaganza. Any other spots in great contention? There is a nice battle for the middle of the top 20. Sitting in 7th is West, and he's got 37 points on Tonto, who's got 22 on Stout, who's got 31 on Beresford, who's got 32 on Whitman, who has 9 on Daniels, and then York's only 57 behind them. So it is kind of tight there in the middle of the top 20 with spots to move around. And of course, if any new winners occur tonight, they will be locking themselves into the Winter Classic to be run over the off-season. The venue is yet to be decided, but we're told to expect it to be someplace cold and a potential winter wonderland, much like last year when it was run with the snowdrifts at Michigan. Much time to the command. Oh, right on it here.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the engines have fired. the field rolls off. It will be 200 miles around this mile-and-a-half speedway. Let's put on some exciting racing and some exciting championship finales. Alright, so the drivers we're going to have to keep an eye on tonight, the 40 and the 78. 78 needs to pick up 22 points to secure the championship. The 40, if he can finish ahead of the 78, it's going to be all over. Bonus points be damned on that. Pace cars in, and we are green from Homestead. And Paulson's going to jet ahead here on the get-go as the field accelerates off of turn 2. So I discover I'm using the wrong version of the track, but too late for that now. I love how the Data Knights do that. And that's 5 bonus points for the 40 team. Means it's now 27 points that are going to have to be made up. Diggs trying to lead as many laps as he can. That buys him a little bit of wiggle room. If he leads the most, that's 5 more points. DeCourcy falling off the back of the field. Vatra just brushed the wall. We got a nice scrum back here that the 78 has gotten himself involved in, trying to get forward so he can start working his way up. I hope he's not trying to repeat what he did at Pikes Peak, where he looked like he was giving the championship away. But he has faded a little bit, as has Poulsen. Pole sitter back to 9th last time around. We'll see where he is when we break the timing light this time. And he's dropped outside of the top 10. As will Davis here if he can't get this thing going. 78 not making progress forward, and Diggs continues to lead. Might be getting an anticlimactic finish this season here. Continues to fade back into the field here. As Gene Stapleton's worked his way into the top 10. '78 continues to fade backwards here. Not a great start to the race for him. '78 swings it to the bottom. He's just, ooh, that was loud. He's trying to get somewhere, but not making much progress. Seeing a few cars get tailed off the back of the field early here. As a 3-car breakaway is formed at the front. Not good news for the Davis team here. Particularly given that they seem to be struggling to get this car moving forward. Fighting with Poulsen for the 9th spot right now. Has he cleared him? He's got the gap, but Poulsen's going to try to pull momentum here, and he's not going to close the door on him. Tommy trying to make the bottom line work here, but this is the track that as the run goes on, usually the high line will prevail. And look at that, Poulsen going all the way to the wall. Gonna try to get 2 for 1 here. I think he got them both there at the line. He did. Starting to stack up here a little bit. Ooh, and Daniels is in the fence. Gets it off the wall. You gotta be careful about jumping up there too high and getting it in the wall. As Sphere is taking the lead up at the front of the field. That's some good news for Davis. Somebody else getting the 5 bonus points for leading the laps besides this 40 team at least benefits them. But they need to get up here and make a battle out of it. The problem is there's now a lot of track position to be gained. These Dodge teams would greatly love to get up here and win the Dodge Dealers 200, but not making much forward progress at the moment. So try to pass Joe Mersdorf here on the outside with the 7 and the 0. Seven's going to clear him. Here comes the 0 on the outside. Pontiac of Polson's going to try to follow through. Look at this, Daniels way up to the high side, going to try to get some momentum going. Dave Daniels up to 4th. These guys have some work to do. Thatcher's starting to get dropped here by the leading pair. As Diggs tries to get the lead back. It looks like he'll succeed for the time being. It's just a angry gaggle of cars back here. They just cannot seem to get any sort of organization to try to go up there and get the leaders. Mike's going to go to the high side now. And Mike's going to find the wall. Davis trying to work his way forward, but running 6th ain't going to help him with his championship rival leading the race. Oh, and Mike Carroll's in the wall again. Davis had a bad start and now is just stuck back here in this group, and I just don't think this group has the pace to get up to the leader. We're slowly seeing the back of the field kind of tail off as people lose the draft back there. We kind of have a lead duo, a car in the lurch between this group, a little bit of a gap that Kevin's trying to bridge, and then the rest of the field, and then everybody off the back. Guys that are off the back include DeCourcy, Levinson, Rains, all off the back. Looks like Ramaswamy and Stello have been dropped. Inkman and Mogard are basically gone. Everybody's still running though. And that is a big point we need to make for the Diggs team. They cannot afford another DNF this week. Another engine failure and the championship's gone. Because that would make it very easy for Tommy to just ride somewhere in the middle of the field.
New player.
Hello.
Welcome to the Busch Bonanza finale. And Joe Polson's in the wall. How are you doing today? Good. This group's putting on a great race, it's just not for the lead. Oh, Paulson into the wall again. all trying to find that little bit, but it ain't there.
I haven't heard you at all, so...
That might be a you problem, because my microphone definitely works.
Okay, something's going on with my headset. Hang on.
Because OBS is picking it up. What a goober.
Okay, there we go. Hopefully that fixes it.
I certainly hope so.
Spoiler alert, it did not. Hang on.
I think they're going to catch Vetcher here.
Player left.
Gene Stapleton having the race of his life at the moment.
New player.
Jeopardy themed plays.
I still don't hear you. Hold on. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Whoa, 4 wide. That is not the fast way around this racetrack. We're still 4 wide. No wonder these guys can't catch the leaders. Are we going to do it again? Only 3 wide there. I wonder what the pit window is. I don't remember what it was last year.
Player left.
I'm wondering if he's getting any sound from TeamSpeak at all. Stapleton coming to the front of this group. And now Mike's going to try to pass him. This pack's sort of congealing while it's also falling apart off the back of it, if that makes any sense. Congealing, maybe not the right word, but kind of coming back together a little bit, but feels like that's more because the front is moved. I don't know how to describe this. Like, it doesn't feel like this lead group has come back, or that the second group's come to them. It just sort of feels like both groups are sort of spread out enough that you don't notice the break anymore.
New player.
Survey says...
And now that worked.
Did you finally sort it?
Yeah, I tried doing all my settings and nothing worked. I restarted, everything works.
Weird. Like, I imagine you weren't even getting, like, the channel switched messages, were you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's definitely a TeamSpeak issue. I'm curious if
I restarted TeamSpeak and it didn't work. I restarted the whole computer and it works fine.
Yeah, I'm wondering if TeamSpeak, like, selected a different output device that didn't actually exist, and restarting the computer when TeamSpeak came out was like, oh, that device isn't there anymore? Okay, back to whatever we usually use. What do you have your output set to?
For TeamSpeak, I have it set to my headset.
Okay, it's not set, like, to default device. Okay, weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sitting here and like, oh, okay, you must be busy doing something. I don't know.
No, I'm sitting here doing the final Bonanza race of the season.
How big of a bonanza is it?
Well, it's 200 miles at the Homestead Miami Speedway. There's a 20... Going into the race, there was 22 points between first and second. And the Kevin is running 15th.
Woohoo! Top 20!
Gene Stapleton is running 7th. Where's Doug? Doug Spark, 24th.
Woohoo! He qualified!
Barely. He was the last car to qualify in.
I knew he could take the leftover parts in the shop and make something happen.
I still think he would have had a fighting chance of making the top 20 in points if Tony hadn't tried to kill him at Indianapolis.
What?
Yeah, he missed like 6 races because Tony was doing super qualifying for fucking Indy and had Doug Spark flip 19 times on the back straightaway. You were in that crash too, but he decided not to break your spine or whatever it was.
Oh my.
Why do you think there were a couple of, like, the last couple of races that I ran in the Bonanza, I was running in the Doug Spark car. Foley ran one for Doug. Yeah, he had a whole bunch of substitute drivers that at least kept the sponsor happy.
Well, E3 doesn't know we actually use their logo, so, you know.
I do have the white version of the car prepared for next season. I think we'll swap it up next season and run the white one. I mean, I do like the eclectic group of sponsors we have in this series. We'll go through the field just by sponsor. The leader is Pennzoil. And then Papagino's, who I didn't know existed until Tony said it had to be a race car. Then Dayton Freight. then HelloFresh, Doctor Who, Spam, Bad Dragon, the Statler Brothers, My Little Pony,
I love spam on my Bad Dragon.
and Kingsford. That's a new fetish you just unlocked. That's the top 10. I think they're going to make this a one pit stop race. We're on lap 62 of 134. But I almost feel like, because there's so much fall off here, that it's a potential that having made it a two-stop race might have been faster.
Well, meanwhile, the iRacing guys must be.
Did you see the iRacing development update?
I've seen the blog post about it, yes.
Yeah, that you saw the cliff notes that there's a strong probability that rain's in the next build. We're gonna get an update.
Which means season 3 of next year.
They said they want it to be in the December build, but it might not make it. But yeah, so either that or the spring build. Spring build would actually probably be a great place for it. Oh, leader coming to the pits. We're getting Slinger.
We're also getting Mugello, I think it was?
Mugello,
was it
yes.
Portimao?
I think both, actually. Although I always get confused because Portimao has 3 names, but I think that was Portimao, yes. But Mugello is also on the list. Alright, so Diggs is in. This will not be his last pit stop of the year. Don't think he can make it from here. Whitman's in. Phillips is in. Tonto is in. Here comes Ramaswamy.
Vivek?
No, Nigel. Alex Stello is in. Here comes Vatcher coming down the pit lane. Lot of takers. Doug Sparks in this lap. I think short pitting at this track yields a pretty large advantage because these tires really wear off and you can just put the car wherever you want on fresh tires. Sphere coming in. I think Gino might actually be one of the last ones that's coming in. That should cycle us through. Looks like everybody that hadn't come in is coming in on this lap. Kevin's down and away.
I've been down and away mentally since I was 14, Tim.
I think Diggs just, got a huge advantage on Sphere here. They were 2 cars off the front of the field by themselves. When this cycles through, though, I think he's going to have a massive advantage. That's what he needs. He's got 22 points that he can lose the 78 and still win the championship, but winning the race guarantees it. Looks like Mersdorf, Painter, and Stout may still be out there circulating, having not pitted. Yeah, Gino lost 7 seconds on the pit cycle.
Oof.
That's a lot of time to give up at Homestead. Let's see, you saw the truck sim related stuff?
Do I have it or have I seen it?
Have you seen the stuff?
Nothing new.
Well, they announced Greece, and we're getting a new damage model system thing.
Oh yeah, you told me about the damage model.
Yeah, that's apparently in the open beta now for Euro. The newest Euro DLC came out like 2 weeks ago now.
I gotta work on getting all the new Euro DLCs. I have all the ATS stuff now. So.
Yeah, I've been working on because there's 3 active events. One's the Halloween event you can do in either sim, and then there's 2 in Euro that I've been trying to finish up. Alright, Diggs back to the lead. What is the gap going to be to second, and who will have second? It's a 7-second lead over Geno Sphere. 12 seconds to Vatcher. And then 17 seconds to the pair of Phillips and Tommy Davis. Tommy Davis is second in points, but not gaining any points, running fifth with Diggs in the lead. But that's spread out the field. And there's almost certainly one more pit stop left because we are... Well, we were pretty close to halfway. Some of these guys that pitted late might be able to make it. They might be able to stretch it, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it.
Well, I've heard the Bad Dragon car is really good at stretching fuel mileage.
Oh, well, that's... Yeah. I don't think we should get ourselves all worked up into knots over that.
That's true. I've heard the aero department is really bad. They punch a giant hole in the air everywhere they go.
Well, that depends on whether they've got that car flared out or not.
That's true.
Kevin, have I hit the limit of your knowledge of their products yet?
No.
That's both hilarious and scary.
Look, I've dated a stripper.
Mm-hmm. There's a difference between a stripper and a cam girl, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well, she did both.
Oh, boy! And we got somebody sitting in the pits. Who was that? Is it the 86 sitting on pit road? Yep, 86 with trouble, now 4 laps down. Sphere is gaining some of that time back on Diggs, but not rapidly. Yes, I'll just say that I have some friends who may or may not be Bad Dragon aficionados, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Of all the things to be an aficionado of.
Could be worse. There are far worse things to be aficionado of. Like mayonnaises.
I was going to say another word with M, but that works.
Let's see, a word with M that would be a really bad thing to be an aficionado of. Marmalade. Minefields.
Yes, marmalade, the thing that Jeremy Mayfield allegedly loves.
Methamphetamine.
Hey!
Methadone.
Or both.
I'm trying to think of terrible things that start with an M that you could be an aficionado of. Menopausal women.
Mononucleosis.
Mononucleosis? What?
That'd be a weird thing to be an aficionado of.
Mozzarella cheese. I'm an expert.
I feel like that's pretty normal.
I'm an expert in mozzarella cheeses. I can tell your Sargento from the store brand. Try me.
Don't feed me this bullshit that your cheese comes from fucking Italy.
Sphere is closing this gap down. Gained 4/10 that lap. Catching the lapped car of Jared Shadle. So let's see, any interesting news stories? Let's see, they are working on the SRX car. I don't know.
They've been working on that.
That was the big news. Different bodies for the street stock.
Yeah, I did see that. I like how they just snuck that in there and didn't elaborate any further.
Like, are we going to get, like, 5 or 6 different street stock bodies that all have the same physics? Because that'd be kind of cool.
I'd love that. Hell yeah.
Or did they mean we're going to get a new pavement and a new dirt street stock?
Which I'd be a fan of both, because neither street stock is really atypical of any street stock program in the country right now.
I think you meant is atypical is what they are. They're not neither is typical.
Well, you get what I meant.
It's not like flammable and inflammable that mean the same thing, which is, English being fucking stupid.
Every time I realize that you can actually say the word that twice in a row in a sentence and it be grammatically correct makes me die inside.
Oh, you mean to say that?
Yeah.
You look at it and you go, that doesn't look right. There are plenty of instances where you can use the same word back to back, and it's totally fine, but it just doesn't look right. Like if I'm talking about, a certain animal from a zoo in a certain New York City, I could describe it as a buffalo, and then it could buffalo other buffalo. Make a whole sentence out of buffalo. One of my friends, she pointed out the other day that you can use most nouns as a verb if you really want to. For example, the sentence she said is, I'm going to go out in the driveway and velociraptor. It's like, yeah, I know what you mean.
But back to the news with street stocks, though. I hope we get a Monte Carlo, your Nova and your, Torino. That would be cool.
What I would like to see is some four-cylinder cars, some old Honda Civics and Preludes, old Chevy Cavaliers.
A Cobalt.
What fucking piece of shit did Ford make that was a four-cylinder? Old Focuses, I guess?
Yeah, the Focus, because they had Focuses,
what was
they had Tempos.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was in the Tempo? You don't want to get probed on the racetrack.
Believe it or not, the Probe is actually a terrible four-cylinder race car.
Doesn't surprise me. Old Corollas. Somebody was talking...
It looks like it would be great, but it's too heavy.
Somebody was talking about, since Toyota's apparently getting an updated Cup car for next season, what it's going to be, since they've been a little hush on that. And, I really kind of wish what they would do is make the Xfinity car... Make the Xfinity car an 8.6 and the Cup car the Supra, but I doubt it'll happen.
I mean, the Xfinity car's the Supra's already kind of ridiculous, and 8.6 wouldn't be much better.
The 8.6 would make more sense in the lineup than the Supra. The Supra's in the lower series, and the upper series you're trying to sell me a Camry?
Yeah, I think the Xfinity should go back to the Camry, and the Cup should get, the Supra. Or, even better yet for Xfinity, get the Avalon.
Isn't the Avalon bigger than the Camry?
Yes, but it's actually... The Avalon's similar in size to an actual Cup car.
What I wish they had done when Toyota joined the sport...
The Camry is considerably smaller.
When Toyota joined the sport, I really wanted them to run the Corolla in Xfinity and the Camry and Cup, just to sort of do the brand thing, but they never did it.
Well, at that time, when they
the cars were identical anyway.
Yeah, they were identical, and the Camry in 2007 was identical in size and wheelbase and everything to a Xfinity and Cup car anyhow. Wouldn't have made any sense then. Now, when the Gen 6 came around and the nationwide COT and everything, well, yeah, that makes more sense.
Now, here's the real question. In 2025, what is Chevrolet going to run?
Well, apparently the Camaro's going to become its own nameplate?
Didn't they try that with Corvette multiple times? Once in Europe?
Technically, the Corvette is its own nameplate.
I think it is and it isn't. It's not in the same way that SRT got spun off of Dodge. I still think they call it the Chevy Corvette, but they, try to make it its own thing because Chevy isn't the fancy brand, which is kind of silly, but okay. It's peak GM nonsensical nonsense that they love to do.
Well,
Sphere
is
the 80s
with Mercure and Mercury.
Yes, the Mercure was a terrible plan. They should have given it some German name that didn't just sound like it was an off-brand Mercury. Or, I don't know, just sell us the fucking car in an existing lineup and, if it's good, it'll sell. Oh, wait, they knew that they probably couldn't rely on that, so... I watched an interesting video about, GM at one point was selling Daewoo's in Europe and the UK, and then one year they just rebadged them all as Chevrolets, and immediately sales tanked because it apparently was very confusing to consumers. Yeah, that was a video talking about that apparently they're trying to once again reintroduce Cadillac to the European market.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Like the Europeans don't buy Cadillacs because they have better options. Like, for the same price, you can buy an Audi or a BMW that will be worth more in 5 years than that Cadillac. The Cadillac will depreciate to shit and won't be worth anything.
Precisely. I'll be right back. I gotta take care of a dish.
Happy Christmas! Dude, it's my day. Or is it Christmas Eve, 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 Eve? Stop! So where can I put up the tree? It's Halloween. You should be putting up ghosts. Of Christmas past? No, Christmas future. Or Christmas present. Because right now is Halloween! Costumes, scary movies, jack-o'-lanterns, and trick-or-treating for candy. Canes? No! God, you're the most wonderful time of the Christmas. Kids jingle bell.
Aw, puppy. Sphere is starting to close this gap up substantially, but nobody behind seems to be gaining on the leader. There's Poulsen. He's gone down a lap. Saw Diggs in the shot there briefly. Gap down to just about a second. And he's got him in sight. This is going to become a battle for the lead once again. We're coming up on lap 100 here. Diggs would like to win this race and collect 2 trophies tonight, but you can't really risk it here. You've got such a good gap that a second place finisher easily secures the championship. If you mix this up and get into trouble, you'll lose the championship and you'll kick yourself all off season. And Sphere just took the lead that lap. See if he can make the bottom here work on these guys. Diggs just needs to kind of stay with him. Because really what Diggs needs to do here is just keep the car under him, keep it running, and come home where he's at. He's got enough bonus points that he's really got the ability to finish basically anywhere in the top 10, and he should still be able to win this thing. And Davis is going to need a caution, I suspect, or some very unfortunate things to happen to this 40 team to even get back in this. third is not coming down, but now that Sphere is past Diggs, he's driving away.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back. We just started lap 101.
No, as I was trying to say earlier, though, I'm pretty sure the iRacing gods are angry at me.
Oh, what'd you do?
I've been working my ass off to get a Gen 4 Cup win at Michigan, and I've gotten second, third, third, and 8th.
Do you consider cheating?
No.
That might be what you're missing. It's that secret sauce that nobody thinks
Well,
about.
every race I've been in, everyone's wondering if I am, because I'm able to drive it into the corner a lot deeper than everyone else because I know how to use the brake.
Yeah, I don't use that. It's
Whereas
terrible.
everyone else is just lifting, so I'm using the brake to keep it wound up so I can A, stay in the throttle longer, and B, get in the throttle sooner. So I'm able to go a lot faster, but it's like every time there's a caution with 10 to go, I don't go as hard as I need to on a restart out of fear of getting a black flag for passing the leader. The leader clears me and I can't get back around.
Well, that's the clean air being the problem at Michigan, honestly.
Clean air?
Yeah, the leader has a massive advantage there. If you're not the leader, you're not getting around him.
Like, I will get to their inside and everything, but I just can't
You
finish
can't
the
you
job.
can't pass on the inside there. You got to get to their outside, and most people are good at defending that.
Well, I'm good at getting underneath guys because, like I said, I can drive it so deep in the corner. If I back it up a little bit to where I'm a tenth behind them, I can usually clear them. But for whatever reason, at the end of the race, I can never seal the deal.
Well, Diggs is fading back off the leader, but I don't think he's going to get caught by the guys that are 18 seconds off the lead that actually need to catch him for this championship to get blown open. But if a yellow comes out, who knows? Resists urge to throw manual caution.
That's right, you can do that in single player.
All you gotta do is like enable the telemetry, and then you get all the chat functionality. You can throw yells, do whatever the fuck you want.
I forgot you could do that.
And even without doing that, if you're actually in the race, you can just use auto chats. What I wish 2003 had was the ability to park an AI car. Because there have been a number of races where like a car's just been a fucking menace or pitting every lap. They'd be like, okay, clearly you have a fuel leak. You're coming in every lap and putting just enough fuel in to go back around. I'm just going to park you.
Yeah, because can you do that with the AI in iRacing?
I don't know about in iRacing. You can do it in R Factor.
Oh, yeah.
I don't play around with the AI in iRacing very often.
I'll do it every once in a while if I'm on a wild hair and want to do a race that's not like an active series or a well-populated one. I'll just fire it up in AI instead.
Oh, I think they announced some dirt track I'd never heard of.
Millbridge?
That's the one. Yeah, I don't think I'd heard of that
How
one
have you
before.
not heard of it?
Because I've only heard of dirt tracks that were in DTR 2.
Don't you listen to the Dale Jr. download? Like, come on.
The only Dale Jr. downloads I listen to anymore are the interview ones, and that's very few and far between. I realized there were a couple I was missing. I apparently hadn't listened to the Ricky Rudd one yet.
Well, they did a whole episode on the business of motorsports.
Oh,
with
I didn't listen to any of
person
those.
that runs it.
Didn't
You
listen.
should. They're actually quite fascinating.
The first couple of those I found so boring, and I have other things to listen to. I was just like, these aren't interesting to me.
Well, maybe it's just interesting to me because I've worked on the inside, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't find it very interesting to listen to for me. Oh, Doug Sparks going a lap down.
I don't know, the one where they were talking about merchandising, that was a lot of fun to listen to.
If I want to know about merchandising, I'll just watch Spaceballs.
Right.
Or listen to George Lucas talk about anything. That's where he made all his money.
Yeah. But no, it was fascinating to hear like how the deals come together and like how it worked out. And, how certain sponsors go, hey, let's do this. I don't know if Dale's for it. Dale, you for this? Hell yeah, let me talk to the boss. Teresa, am I for this?
Man, my inner Michael Massey is screaming, throw a yellow with 10 to go.
Oh my god, Tim. You've become NASCAR officiating.
Oh, there's debris out there. I watched an interesting video. I think it was the Eli Productions video about the debris cautions
Phantom
and how
cautions, yeah.
Yeah, and how the rated debris yellows dropped by about 3 a race when we started doing stages.
Funny how that works,
Weird.
huh? Yeah.
I like that he didn't have the footage of the one time they threw a debris caution, sent a guy out there in a truck to pick up air.
Which I think was at Michigan.
Michigan's always had issues with, like, even they don't have to look very hard to find debris to throw a yellow for at Michigan. I'm surprised they let them sell hot dogs and give out napkins there after a few years. Same with California A.
Wow.
I don't know what is about 2 mile tracks litter.
Considering Turn 1 doesn't exist at California anymore.
Have they actually bulldozed it?
You haven't seen the pictures?
No. If I'd seen the
Oh,
pictures,
yeah,
I'd have been like jerking off to him or something.
Jesus.
I hate that racetrack.
I thought it was good.
I never liked California. The best race I ever saw at California was an IndyCar race.
That's why I loved it.
But they stopped racing IndyCar there, so fuck it. It didn't put good on races for stock cars and shit. It just didn't work. And in all honesty, instead of having one race at Michigan and one at California, we might as well just have 2 races at Michigan, right?
I mean, I'm for it. And you know, IndyCar, there is a great date in early June that NASCAR has left on the table. Get rid of that shitty Detroit street circuit.
Oh my god, it's happening! I'm so excited about this. So, what replaced California on the schedule for next season? Because I guess I just didn't look hard enough for that.
I don't think anything really did.
Well, something had to have, because there were still 36 races. Oh, pit stops.
I think they just...
The 40 did pit early this time, too. Let's see what kind of advantage he gets from this. These will be the last stops of the season, barring a caution. Yellow comes out, 40 gets fucked. Because he is now down a lap. So if a yellow were to come out right now, he would lose the championship because he pitted earlier. But the yellow would probably come out for somebody getting wrecked trying to pit, so... Oh boy. And I really wonder if somebody that went very long on the first run is going to try to make it to the finish here. Pikes Peak race was fun last week.
Coda has the spot that Auto Club was at.
Speaking of tracks that shouldn't be on the NASCAR schedule and need to be bulldozed, Coda.
I don't know, of all the racing that happens at Coda, I find the NASCAR racing the most uninteresting.
It's still not good.
I didn't say it was good. I'm just saying amongst the races at Coda, it's the best one.
It's just, it's a track that could be a whole lot better. It's just, oh.
It's almost good. Like, you can see where it could be good.
I drive a lap around there, I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, what the fuck is this bullshit corner out of nowhere? Why the fuck is there, why the fuck are there 5 extra lanes at the apex of this corner that you can't fucking use, but someone's gonna try to, and we're gonna Aloha snack bar?
It's in Texas to April.
Like, there's gotta be something that has a second date.
Iowa.
That's it. I
keep forgetting that's on the schedule. I'm excited for it, but
you know how I feel about Iowa.
I guess not, because I'm happy for it.
I don't like that track. I don't think it races good in anything.
I think you're wrong.
I have never seen a race at Iowa that didn't bore me to tears.
You did not watch the IndyCar race this year, then.
The IndyCar race was very boring. It was all pit strategy.
You're an idiot. Like, what's wrong with that?
Pit strategy is one thing to watch, but that's not what I want out of an IndyCar oval race. I want an oval where you can pass. My issue with Iowa is like the issues Richmond has with the next-gen car are going to be magnified at Iowa. It is too big to be a short track and too small to be a speedway. It doesn't. It just has the worst of both. It's got the aero issues of a
what they say
speedway.
they're going to do with the tires and the aero. That should
Well,
help.
that might help, but I don't know.
And they're putting a new style transmission in too. So
I've
that's gonna help
also,
too.
like, in iRacing, never had a fun race in Iowa. Like, it's just a annoying track to race around.
But
Jeez
when I had
Louise.
my truck race win there about a month ago, when C-Fix was there, I had a blast.
Yeah, I've never liked racing there in anything.
Like, just rip the top and use the inside line when you need it.
In my experience, it always turns into a one-groove racetrack that you can't pass on.
I've never had issues passing there, at least not in stock cars. Indy cars, it's a bit different.
Well, that's just about anything in the Indy car that doesn't have 19 million grooves, but
Yeah.
how long are we going to go before we do this pit stop? I don't know. Like, I'm happy
No,
for them to try it, but I have slightly more faith in that race than running the oval at Indy. But
I don't know. I have faith in the Indy cars.
I have absolutely no faith in that. As I say, another track that was stock cars, I've never seen a race that was good for reasons that it should have been good. The best race I've seen at Indy was the one where everybody died. Oh, 47 in the wall.
No, the first, like, 3 or 4 Brickyard 400s were actually pretty solid.
We've got a caution. Yellow is out. I think Diggs might have just gotten fucked, but I think did the 78 pit too? 78 had also pitted. So they're both stuck a lap down. Oh boy. I didn't have to throw a yellow because it happened on its own. Hey Kevin, guess what? You're 11th. Last car on the lead lap.
Woohoo!
Let's see what caused this caution. I see smoke in the first turn.
Tony Stewart's out there?
No. I think Joe Polson has crashed, which is just what Kevin needs to hear. Joe Polson went off into turn 1 and got run over. Dwight York turned him. And he made
I'm gonna get a drink of water. I'll be right back.
decent contact with the wall, and the caution came out. Let's see where this all cycles to. Where the hell's the goddamn pace curve? Gino's not pitting? That's a bad decision, I think. Because tires absolutely matter. Well, Beresford and Weston are in. They're on the lead lap. Kevin's pitting. That's a good call. This will be an exciting shootout finish here. And here comes the 93 coming in. Got some takers here.
And unfortunately, I have returned.
Well, so the yellow has come out, as you knew. 4 cars on the lead lap pitted. Of the 11 that were on the lead lap. Tires really matter. You want the good news or the bad news?
Let me guess, I didn't pit.
You did pit, but you're still last car on the lead lap.
Well, I mean, at that point, you may as well.
Yeah. This is going to get interesting. Our points battle is between the 40 and the 78. They're both a lap down now. But the 40 is way ahead of the 78. But this could get interesting. So the leader... Yeah, the first 7 cars haven't pitted. So we've got Gino Sphere, Joe Mersdorf, Mike Carroll, Dave Daniels, Gene Stapleton, Barry McComas, and Frank Womack on old tires trying to make fuel last to the end, which is also a baffling strategy, and we're one... Oh, that's the thing, though. It's inside 10 to go, so it's a single file restart. Which could be really good or really bad. I'm not sure which. I think it's good if you're Geno Sphere, because it means he's got a bunch of cars between he and second, and a lot of space between him and the guys with new tires. Man, if only there was like another lap to go, because we're like right at 10 to go. A double file restart would have been really interesting, because just about all the lap cars have tires. Well, let's see what happens. You saw that we're getting like new weather and sky and all that shit for Truck Sim. It looks pretty cool. Like actual bolts of lightning and that kind of shit. Alright, here we go. Pace car is going to peel off here. And we're going to have, what, exactly 10 to go, I think? Yeah. Pace car's in. Green, green, green. Sphere gets a good jump there. And immediately has the 38 up his ass. Goes the 38 past him, but there's so many cars that are on old tires that the field's kind of bottled up.
Well, 444 really just laid back and let him take it, huh?
There's an angry pack back there where the mixing is happening. I mean,
yes, the fucking...
He has no reason to fight these guys on new tires that aren't on the lead lap. I don't understand why you wouldn't have pitted there. Like, fuel's a question, tires suck. Beresford's up to second already. These guys on new tires are going to come flying through this field as long as they can find holes to get through. That does seem to be the issue that you're running into back there, but you can run any groove and pass cars on old tires. Just there's not a ton of laps. Alright, Beresford's got one car between him and the leader now. Oh no, two cars. The rest of the new tire guys are kind of stuck back there, though. Here comes Beresford. Kevin's up to fourth.
Oh, well, Cole Custer's back in the 10 car.
Back?
The Cup Series, yeah.
He hadn't been in that car before.
I know, I'm saying he's back to the Cup Series with Stuart
Okay.
Haas.
I heard back in the 10 car. Here comes the battle for the lead. Here comes Beresford
I
on the
said back
bottom.
and in.
Okay, I didn't hear the end. Diggs goes by on the outside. Here comes Beresford on the bottom. Needs to get this move done. Kevin up to third, closing in. Beresford's got the lead, though. Has cleared him. That pack back there, it looks like they're going to crash at any minute. Beresford leads for the first time tonight. Kevin 2 seconds back, does still need to catch Sphere. I don't think you're going to have any trouble doing that. Scott Drake is not getting through these guys despite having tires. Kevin, you gained a little bit, but not enough to get there in 3 laps. But you've just passed Geno Sphere in the span of 1 camera cut. So you made quick work of him, up to second. Joel Polson's 37th. You were 22nd in points. He was 20th. I don't remember who was between you. I'll have to look. Between you was Tony Gunk. Where is he running?
That's an unfortunate name.
Let's see. The 86 was out of the race. Where is Tony Gunk? 35th. So the guys you're trying to catch to get into the top 20 are in the 30s, and you're running second. I don't know if you can get enough points to get them both. How far out of that spot were you?
You're asking the wrong motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't think you can catch Joe Polson, but you're going to come up real close as we take the white flag. Adam Beresford, 1 lap around. Cars are pitting. Some of the guys that stayed out appear to be pitting. That's interesting. I don't know who's going to win this championship. I think the 40 is, because, yeah, he's still on track. So as long as he doesn't pit here, he's going to win the championship. So as long as I don't see him in the pit lane. As Beresford comes off of turn 4, checkered flag's going to be in the air. Adam Beresford's going to win at Homestead. Kevin's going to come home second. And, yep, Diggs will win the championship. Sphere comes home 4th? Yes, 4th. Scott Drake only got up to 5th. Mersdorf 6th. Dave Daniels 7th. 8th to Mike Carroll. 9th to Baron McComas. 10th, Jackson Batcher. Gene Stapleton clearly pitted because he's not even in the lead lap cars anymore. Let's get a full running order here. Alright, so let's see. 10th is Vatcher, then Phillips, Tonto, Diggs, Davis, Stello, Shadle, Mogard, Ramaswamy, Painter, Spark, DeCourcy, White, Sheldrick, Pedersen, Fitzmaurice, Reno Jackson, Bobby Farrell, Steve Inkman, Ron Stout, Gene Stapleton, Frank Womack, Nazamo Hawkins, Broderick Whitman, Stephen Lowe, Stephen Davis, Spike Levinson, JT Armstrong, Tony Gunk, Dwight York, John Cheeseman, Joe Polson finished last running, and Brandon Reigns. You might have passed him. We'll have to see. Let's see what the points are like. We know that Diggs has just won the championship, so that was an anticlimax, but let's see what happened to the rest of the points. Joel Polson was the pole sitter and lost 40 spots in that race. It's an unfortunate thing to do, is to lose 40 spots in a race. Right, writing the standings. The 2023 season is in the books. We will upload it and see what we have. What do you think, Kevin? Do you think you got enough points there to get into the top 20 so you don't have to qualify for the first 5 races next season?
No fucking clue.
I think you were just far enough out that I think Polson would have needed not to score points at all, but for him to get 41st might have done it. Also, for him to have been in the only yellow was not helpful to him at all. Final point standings. Diggs wins by 35 points over Davis, then Mersdorf, Spear, Carroll, no changes there. Rod Weston takes 6th in the last round over Painter. Tonto in 8th. Beresford passes Stout for 9th. Stout ends up 10th. Dave Daniels passes Whitman, goes to 11th. Then Dwight York, John Cheeseman. Vatcher picks up 2 spots, passing Ben White and Stephen Davis. Mogard up to 18th. Oh, Stephen Lowe lost the spot down to 19th. Joe Polson held on to 20th. Kevin, you missed it by 34 points for the whole season. Kept you out of the top 20.
Well, shit.
You did pass Tony Gunk. You finished 21st in points. Let's see. Reno Jackson gained a spot. McComas up a spot. Doug Spark ended 32nd in points. Let's see. So Diggs wins the championship on 3 wins. Davis comes home second with 7 wins. Mersdorf picked up 1. Sear picked up 5. Carroll 1. Weston 3. Painter 1. Beresford, that was his only win of the season right at the end. Vatcher won a race. Ben White picked up 1. Jared Mogard 3 wins. Joe Polson 2. Kevin won a race. JT picked up 2. Farrell won a race. Reno Jackson won a race. And Bev Fresh won a race. I won a race. I was the only ringer to win a race. That'll make the All-Star race kind of interesting, well, the Winter Classic race, because there aren't a ton of different winners this season, so it'll be a very small field. All right, we thank all of our fans for joining us for the 2023 season. We look forward to 2024 and the All-Star Winter Classic majigger at some point when I'm bored over the winter. Thank you for watching. Please drive home safely.